Hey, I'm reading this morning the Gospel according to Luke chapter 14, verses 12 through 14. On a Sabbath, Jesus went to dine at the home of one of the leading Pharisees. He said to the host who invited him, "When you hold a lunch or dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or sisters or your relatives or your wealthy neighbors in case they may invite you back and have you in repayment. Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. Blessed indeed will you be because of their inability to repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteousness." This is one of the ones that always kind of throws me. Because typically, when I think, like, me and my family, we don't just throw parties to throw parties for party's sake. Usually there's a cause for celebration, and it's like a birthday, or that's what it is 9 times out of 10, or Thanksgiving, or Christmas, or maybe an anniversary. And at those times, you want to, I guess the natural thing to do is to surround ourselves with people who we know and we love, and we want to share. Like with a birthday, you want to share like the memories of the past year with whose ever birthday you're celebrating, and hope for more. I will say that in connection with birthdays, I have a number of children. I have 6, and that when it comes to birthday parties anymore, I don't want anything in repayment. And it seems like a lot of times when people show up, they feel like they have to bring a gift. And with 6 kids, they have so much. I'm fortunate enough. We're not rich by any means, but me and my wife do well, and we provide well for our children. And they have too much stuff, and I don't know. I almost want to start, when sending out the invites, to be like, hey, please, no gifts. We're bursting at the seams here. Or to take the gifts and turn around and be like, okay, who are we going to donate these to? But maybe. So this gospel kind of gets me thinking, like, why invite people who you don't know? Why invite the lowly? And it's from the fact of the matter of, when I ponder this a little bit, what comes to mind is that God blesses us all so much. And even if we are, even if we're lucky and we live in America and we have everything that we need plus just about everything that we want, we're still sinners. We're still broken. We're still dirty. And just as God, forgives us at the drop of a hat because He wants relationship with us and He wants to love us and He wants to guide us to love and to live in His way so that we become the most amazing saints possible. But He wants us to then also to turn around and do that for each other and live as He lives and loves as He loves. And it's just, I don't know, for some reason it seemed kind of profound this morning when I read that. And so I feel kind of a challenge of, as I go forward today, to love everyone that I meet. And what can I do to those that society considers less fortunate? We just wrapped up Halloween, so we're getting ready to kick into the holiday season full swing. I live in an area, I live in small town America, and I don't know if we just generally do a good enough job taking care of each other, or the ones who are less fortunate are just that hidden. I took a youth group recently from our church to Chicago to go to Six Flags, and it was an amazing time. And I learned so much from those guys. I don't want to call them boys because they're like teenagers, right? But it was such an amazing time, and I sacrificed, my Saturday and everything to be with them and to do this for them and take them up there. But for some reason, the GPS, had us go through Chicago. And not knowing Chicago, when I saw the route, I didn't think anything of it. But we made this one turn, and the next thing we knew, we were in probably not a great part of town. And we traveled under this overpass. And it wasn't like a city or anything. It wasn't anything huge, but there was like a row of tents, and there was a homeless man at the corner. The homeless people we see around here, in comparison to what we saw Saturday, was a stark contrast. People wearing, a sandal on one foot and a shoe on the other, and you want to get out and you want to do something, and on the other hand, you're like scared because, and I think the devil puts that fear because he wants to separate us from each other. He doesn't want us to love each other. He wants to separate us from each other because when we're separated from each other, we're easier to pick off and pull down. So yeah, that's what I'm getting from this. What can I do going forward? And maybe how will this passage open my eyes? I don't know. That's all I gotta say about that.